Hello, hello,
Going on?
hello. Hello, guys. Welcome back to yet another Red Cape Sports live stream. Um, thank God, guys, you all missed it. If you're just now tuning in, Mitch had these ridiculous wannabe Clark Kent Superman glasses
Should I put
on.
them on?
I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
Well, I have other ones too.
Just, just ridiculous.
I got these.
Yeah, but you're indoors.
Well,
All right. Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
that's gonna
Oh
be
my
for
goodness.
my OnlyFans.
For your OnlyFans?
Yep.
What is that? Like showing off sports cards?
No,
OnlyFans edition?
no, seriously though. Honestly, dude, I was going through my PC, like my personal card collection. Those cards are so hot. They're gonna need an OnlyFans. Like, my PC is getting nice.
That's that's sick, man. I mean, at the end of the day, that's can't go wrong. Can't go
Yeah.
wrong. So, anyways, guys, we're right on time for the live stream here. There's four
Yeah.
viewers. Obviously, we're gonna get more, but we'll start it off nice and easy. First and foremost, thank you everyone who actually voted on our community page. On our Facebook, or pardon me, on our YouTube community page, I put out a poll giving 5 options to choose from. And of the following, which of the 5 players do you think will have the biggest bounce back season? And we're going to get to that, but later on in the show, typically speaking, when we start something at 6, So we're definitely going to get to that, but we're going to wait for some people to join. Anyways, let's get it started, Mitch. We'll start it off nice and easy, underhand. MLB rookies. So for this upcoming season, being 2021, who are some rookies that have caught your attention so far that you might even be looking into investing in?
Well, I would say I'm more familiar with the guys from last year, where they're starting to like creep up.
Right. Some of
Uh,
those guys are
Bobby,
considered
Bobby
rookies
Wood
this year.
Jr. Bobby Wood Jr. I still think he might be cheap.
Yep.
Tough to say how they're going to do. I mean, they haven't played, pro games. But again, like I don't know. I feel like I know he's not a rookie this year, but Vlad Jr. Man, I think he's going to be hitting a lot of bombs.
Okay. All right. That's interesting that you say that because, as I mentioned previously, we will be speaking about Vladdy and a few other guys. As I'm looking at this, we received, 60 votes. So we will be getting into that. For me, MLB rookies who have caught my attention, there's a rookie by the name of Alex Bohm. So Alec Bohm, AlecBohm. And this kid, man, he batted like 300 plus last year as a rookie. And mind you, it was a pandemic riddled season and 60 games. But dude, this is a kid who can seriously hit the ball. And playing in a lineup with Rhys Hoskins and Bryce Harper, who's been absolutely tearing it up so far in spring training, I think he's going to be the real deal. I really do. Wander Franco's another guy who let's hope he makes his MLB debut. Honestly, I can't see him not at least making his debut. Whether or not he sticks in the MLB is a different thing. And third, Adley Rutschman. I think Adley Rutschman's finally going to get a lot of playing time. The Baltimore Orioles are not a good team. But with that being said, like if he gets things done, it's tough to say. Like, sure, Baltimore is not maybe the greatest market, but when you're playing in the AL East, you're playing Toronto, you're playing, he'll probably be playing against Wander Franco in the Rays, be playing against the Yankees and the Red Sox. So Adley Rutschman for me is another great player. And last, but certainly not least, Dylan Carlson. Dylan Carlson, Mitch, look him up. His card price is now raw ungraded. They're like $7.50, so $7.50, maybe $8 American. But this is a guy who has a legitimate shot each and every single year to be a 20 home run, 20 stolen base guy. So I see that and I go, hey, you know what? He's playing in a big market in St. Louis. Maybe take a stab at him.
No, for sure. I think it's going to be an interesting year. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to be a big season for the rookies. That's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a lot of attention on the guys who have already been in the league. I think they're Those are going to be the guys to dominate, I think. I mean, dude, I don't know if you saw, but Trevor Bauer, he keeps doing breakdowns. Dude, he's striking guys out with one eye.
Yeah. It. And I actually want to mention this. I'm about to torch myself, but shout out to the Go Labs. I've mentioned them before on other streams. They love baseball, and I was looking up Trevor Bauer's stats before last season, like right before the season kicked off, and Aaron Golab said, "Hey, Trevor Bauer is going to win the Cy Young." I laughed. I laughed so hard. I went, "You think a guy with a lifetime ERA of like 380, 390 is going to win the Cy Young? You're ridiculous." Well, lo and behold, he won a Cy Young. So I lost that bet by a mile. But kudos to him. I mean, Trevor Bauer dude, honestly, Trevor Bauer is making baseball fun again. You know what I mean? Like how many guys say, no, we don't want a bobblehead night. We want an eye patch night because he's striking guys out. And I mean, mind you, it's spring training, but he's literally striking guys out with one eye closed. Trevor Bauer's fun, man. He's a YouTuber as well. I think Trevor Bauer is exactly what baseball needs, and playing in Hollywood is definitely going to benefit him and us as baseball fans.
Yeah, especially with the Dodgers. I like the videos that he's doing with social media. It was kind of funny, but like he legit was pitching in like close of one eye.
Yeah,
like
crazy. Bobby Dalbec gonna hit a lot of bombs so far in spring training.
I think it cut out there, Bird. All right, guys. So we're here alone. Bird is gone, and Bird's the host. So what are we gonna do? Bird, you cut out.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was on the wrong internet, but we're good now. We're good now. Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about Dalbec.
Yeah. So, pardon me. All I was saying was, that's a guy who he strikes out a lot, and he's older. So, Mitch and I, we always say, like, when you do want to invest in rookies, try to look at guys who are, realistically, you don't want to invest in like a 24-year-old rookie. But in baseball, it's different, right? It's not like hockey where, you have 18, 19-year-old kids coming in and being studs right away. So, with that being said, I'll just say lean towards the side of caution, and lean towards the sides of just thinking twice about before you do something. Okay, Mitch, moving on here.
Not a Zion question, is it?
Oh no, not so. I call this one, nah, I'm good. And the reason why I want to bring this up is far too often, people are telling us like, oh, like you should invest in this guy, you should invest in this guy, you should invest in this guy. And we actually had a phone call yesterday, and we were kind of talking about, what are some of the mistakes that we have made early on, just in the sports card hobby. And one of the things I said was investing and spreading myself too thin by like investing into too many players. So I want to ask you, which big name guy that most people are currently investing in, that you're not going to invest in this season?
That's a good question. One is kind of obvious, and he's still a good player, but like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, are you talking just baseball or like which sport?
Any sport, really.
Yeah. One was McKinnon, and not say he's bad or anything. It's just I don't know. Like he's got I feel like you need a lot of attention, right? For a price to be that high, for somebody who, should probably have to win Stanley Cups, going to be very tough. Other sports, Tatis, like I would maybe buy him still, but like when the season starts, he's a guy that's gone up so much in the past year or so. Like I'm happy I have his cards, but like buying them now, it's like the price is high.
Yeah.
Like for a guy who hasn't even played that many games. And I love Zion. Zion keeps doing good. Zion makes me happy. He's a guy that's just so expensive.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
I'm just saying for how young he is. Like for a 20-year-old who, he's been playing good. I hope he does well. But it could be $1,000 mistake. It could be a $30,000 mistake depending on which card you get. So
Right.
yeah, I know, and I'm just saying price wise, they're pretty high. But as a player, I think they all have good chances. I just haven't been getting them.
Interesting. For me, the number one guy that kind of pops off right now, um, and I mean, mind you, like he's expensive. I'm not gonna lie whatsoever. Kevin Durant. So right now, everyone's saying because apparently at the Dallas card show that's happening right now, Kevin Durant cards are just going absolutely nutty. And rightfully so. I mean, Kevin Durant's one of the best purebred finishers, purebred scorers that the NBA has seen in a long time. And it's not even the fact that his card price is like expensive because it should be. I just think like the Brooklyn Nets are extremely hyped, and rightfully so, right? I mean, you got three All-Stars, and then they just recently added Blake Griffin. But the NBA is tough, right? Like, there's a lot of great teams right now, and even though they might be like the front runners, like you still got to get by a LeBron team, you still got to get by a Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons team potentially. The Jazz are playing well, so that's all I'm saying. Like I think his card prices they just shot up almost out of nowhere, and that's just because of Blake Griffin joining them, and I don't think that's warranted. In football, I want to talk about Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott, he's the quarterback for America's team, and I think the time to buy Dak Prescott was 3 to 4 weeks following that gruesome leg injury. That was the time to buy it. Right now, he just announced that he's healthy. He announced he's ready to go. So like, why are we gonna?
We lost Bird again. Bird keeps cutting out, and it's funny because he was bragging about his new internet. Bird's got this new high-speed internet, but he keeps cutting out. But yeah, Dak Prescott. Let's see, his Donruss Optic PSA 10 rated rookie, $500 Canadian. So, do you guys think that's overvalued? Do you think it's undervalued? I think that's a great buy if you're into, the Cowboys. If you're a football fan, that's probably a pretty good buy right there. And he's got other cards on eBay right now too, which is pretty cool. He's got some auto prisms as well, under $1,000. So, hey, if he has a breakout year, who knows what he's gonna do? So. Yep, we lost Bird, but Bird's back.
Oh,
I was just talking about Prescott prices on eBay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. It's been frustrating with my internet modem. So
I was telling them you're bragging about your internet. Now it's
so actually, just yesterday, we recently just upgraded to a better router. But it seems like I'm having some issues down in the basement. So maybe I'll eventually make my way upstairs. So we'll see about that. I'll get that figured out.
That's
Anyway,
right.
All right, moving on to the next topic here, Mitch. The Price is Right. I wanted to talk about this because yesterday, again, throughout that phone call, we're touching base on, can card prices still be considered undervalued even if they're at $1,200 per se? What do you think?
Oh yeah, like it depends on the card, right? All the factors kind of have to go together. Like, dude, I've been considered. Man, I mean, I was gonna buy a Tatis Blue Wave out of 75. Best looking card I've ever seen. It was $1,200. Now that card is sold over 6,000. I could have bought it and I didn't. Of course, like there are a lot of cards that are extremely undervalued. You have to stick to the player first, it depends on the card. Don't pay $1,200 for a LaMelo Ball hoops because I saw that card was trending, the PSA 10, but like how many people have gotten the grades back? Just understand what you're buying. If you're gonna pay $1,200, I mean $1,200 isn't a lot of money for a lot of cards. Like $1,200, you can't even get a really really good Kobe rookie or a really good Shaq rookie in general. So, and I'm talking high PSA grades. On the other side of that, can high prices be undervalued? Yeah, like, dude, you could pay $50,000 and you're buying a card that's undervalued. I think a PSA 10 Charizard is still undervalued. And that card, you know, if you're looking at first edition Shadowless, you're talking hundreds of thousands. So, yeah, 100%, 100%.
Fair enough. Yeah. You know, I was thinking exactly that. Austin Matthews, who's having a phenomenal season, you know, currently leading the league by far in goals. There's nothing that can slow this man down other than himself and maybe injuries and things like that.
He's
But with
hurt.
that being said, like Austin Matthews hasn't even got out of the first round of playoffs, and he's playing in the biggest hockey market. And you know, like I feel like we mention him so much here on Red Cape Sports, but rightfully so. Like there's a $1,200 card that's still sitting, in my opinion, fairly undervalued. So,
dude, it's insane. I bought two of them for about $300 a piece, give or take. I still have one, thank God. And now I don't think I can move that card. He's probably my favorite hockey player right now. He is my favorite hockey player, even over Ovechkin, just because he plays for Toronto, right? And we're from around that area.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, dude, Austin Matthews is legit the goal scoring GOAT right now in the NHL.
Yeah.
Nobody's a better goal scorer, in my opinion, than Matthews right now. But overall player, McDavid is a freak.
For sure. PD. So PD's been on some of these live streams for the last little while, and PD brings up a great question. He says, now that everyone's talking about baseball, should we look into football, or is it too soon to buy? Yeah, so basically he's asking, you know, great question. He's definitely onto something. I like to buy when no one's talking about said player, said sport. That's my you know, kind of my mental switch to turn it on and go, okay, nobody's talking about Joe Burrow now. I'm gonna go pick up some Joe Burrows.
That was like my number one pick in $500 video or something.
So. Right, because especially when you compare Burrow, it's like, okay, well, who does everyone compare Burrow to? Justin Herbert. And when you look at it, you go one card is $90 and the other one's $210 raw ungraded American. Is Joe Burrow half the player that Justin Herbert is? Some would argue when he's healthy, he might even be better.
No, he's better. He's better. So, a man that smokes cigars like Joe Burrow? No, I'm serious. If you smoke a cigar and if you're that confident, you're going to be a great player.
Yeah.
And he's already proven that. He's already proven that.
Right.
Any legend that smokes cigars, they're going to be a great athlete. They're going to have a great career. If Zion smokes cigars, I'm not going to stop buying Zion.
Oh my goodness. In all seriousness though, PD, baseball cards, there are a few that you can still have for fairly cheap, but the closer we come to opening day, the more I would advise you to maybe look into sports that aren't televised right now. You know, it's the same thing. Like I was buying baseball throughout the NFL playoffs because everyone was focused on the NFL playoffs, and now is the time to buy football. And I get it, you know, Jeff from Sports Card Investor might put out a video eventually saying, hey, you know what, people have always said buy in the off season, yada yada yada, and here are the stats to back it up. But when he says here are the stats, it's very like zoomed in, aimed in, right? Like look at the bigger picture, and for the most part, in the off season is arguably speaking the best time to buy up cards. So that's what I've noticed. Specifically, you know, and I'm not saying go out and buy a Joe Burrow, but I'm just saying like he's $90 now, closer to week 1 when he proves in preseason that he's healthy, and after 2 weeks, like come week 3, that's going to be a $200 card again. You can bank it. Bird Bouchard, what are we? March 13th, 313. Shout out to the 313 as we see it in Detroit. But yeah, mark that down. I think that card's easily going to be $200 American raw ungraded by week 3. So, moving on, Mitch. I think we got a good one here too. there's a lot of people who ask us this question,
Mm.
and there's a mini backstory behind this. There's
And Bird gets cut out again. What is going on? Guys, what kind of questions do you have? A video on other sports cards to buy would be cool instead of Young Guns. Yeah, well, I'm thinking about doing a UFC video and Marvel. Would you guys like to see UFC cards and Marvel cards episode? That would be really cool. And budget friendly ones because I'm not buying any expensive ones. But I'm thinking a UFC one, because I'm not a huge UFC guy. I don't fight. I would fight somebody though if they challenge me. And if any YouTuber wants to fight, we'll fight. So um, I think Bird would too. But when it comes to UFC cards, that would be a cool episode, a budget UFC and a budget Marvel one. And if you haven't seen the $100, $500, and $1,000 budget video, we kind of hit on a couple of them as well, at least on the Marvel side. So we got Bird back.
Yeah,
Bird,
I'm upstairs now.
Yeah.
So just telling my wife I am live. So, yeah, like I said, we got a new router. Definitely got to call them back to figure out what is going on. So, with that being said, though, Mitch, I wanted to mention this. Where do you buy product? Because, this kid who I haven't spoken to in a while messaged me yesterday, and he says he bought 2 packs. So he bought Optic NFL, and he got a Pulsar out of like 10, Jalen Hurts Optic, and the other card was a Justin Herbert, which, those are arguably speaking some of the best pulls that you can buy from there. And we're in Canada, and it's really hard to find product. So he said that he went onto his marketplace. He said he spent $35 per pack for fat packs. And mind you, he definitely made his money back, but
Yeah.
A lot of people keep asking me, like, where do you buy product?
I've been looking. I know there's Pokemon, but for Pokemon, Shining Fates has come out, and I think the pre-sale sold out in like a day or two. Who knows? I can find them cheaper on Facebook. I find that Facebook Marketplace right now is probably the place to go. And what it really is people going online, doing the pre-order, buying a ton of them, and selling them for cash. Because I know some of these people. I've sold a couple boxes before. I like Facebook Marketplace. And then again, you could always ask your store. That's a good option. But just go into the people, Facebook groups. We have a group, Red Cape Sports. If you guys want to sell boxes there, you can and ship it to people. That'd be cool. But I would say Facebook if I want to get packs. And then I obviously see Frank too. Even if I have to pay a bit extra, I'll buy some stuff from Frank. But I haven't been buying too many packs. We did a video on that. We never pull anything good, at least not in the studio. So, like here in the studio, we've pulled nothing. We haven't pulled a strong card. So
no, it's been a while, and I picked up some baseball cards. I want to say 2 to 3 weeks ago. In baseball, for me, it's so much easier to pull good cards because at the end of the day, like you want a rookie over a base. And I feel like baseball, the class is so much larger. So your chance of pulling a good card in baseball, what I have found, and even looking at pop reports, is when you're ripping baseball, you're going to find better stuff. But here in Canada, it's really hard to find baseball, basketball, and football. What I can find is hockey. So at the end of the day, I bought 2 fat packs. What is that? Thursday night, 2 fat packs that I found. So I think there's 36 cards in each, or 26, whatever it might be. I didn't get a single Young Gun. I didn't get a single one. And at $8 a pack, there's like $16. And again, I just bought it. Like, I was having a good day. The wife actually opened them up on the way home, so it was something for us to do. But we didn't get realistically anything good. Like we pulled an Ovechkin and a McDavid base, but at the end of the day, pulling cards, like unless you're a hobby breaker, pulling like from hobby boxes, it's gonna be really tough to buy retail and pull something good. So I only do it for fun, right? Like at the end of the day, this is a hobby. and
Yeah.
the hobby is meant to be fun. So buy packs, but just
Yeah.
go into
Yeah.
it knowing that you're probably not going to make your money back.
No, for sure. Because, dude, we're pretty transparent with what we do, but like, I've been wanting to get some packs. I was actually gonna go to Walmart or somewhere else or even Frank's and get a pack. And like, I'm probably still gonna go there for the Pokemon. But like, dude, I know the pull rate because I look at it a lot. I'm like, and I've opened up quite a few products, like
Mhm.
especially when basketball a year or 2 years ago was much cheaper. Like, dude, I should have kept it sealed, but I pulled that Tyler Hero. I bought a Prism fast break box. It was like what, $200, $300.
Oh,
You're not able to do that anymore.
no.
Um, and the whole point is like I love opening up packs, and like I've had the urge to want to get packs, but I've really controlled myself when it comes to packs and not opening them.
Mhm.
So I don't know if anybody else kind of felt the same, but like
Yeah.
I think maybe because it's so expensive, it's almost not as fun to open up packs. Maybe I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
thing, just because I don't know. Maybe because I know I could just buy the card, it's more
Okay.
exciting to me. So that's what I've
So
been doing.
with that being said, then Mitch, I have a good question for you. Um, not sure if you saw last night, but Kirill Kaprizov, the Russian rookie for the Minnesota Wild, he scored a hat trick. His pre-sales are nearing 200 American dollars raw for
Mhm.
his young gun, which hasn't even come out yet. It comes out in a few weeks. Upper Deck keeps pushing the date back. Now, with that being said, his card's around 200, and then the other guy who people are going to obviously go after is Tim Stutzla. His card
Yeah.
is right around 160. Now, knowing that Lafreniere, when he came out, obviously, he hasn't played well, but are you going to go out and just pay the money, or will you maybe buy a pack or two, hoping that you pull them? Like, what's your game plan for that?
I mean, dude, for how young they are, like, dude, for me personally, um, dude, I like the reason it's worked out so well because of, like how I liked it and how I saw it. There's a big thing when it comes to the player who's good and undervalued and the price. Mukoko has that. Yusufa
Mhm.
Mukoko, didn't he score?
He scored yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, this kid's 16 years old. You can get his like a beautiful tops rookie card of his. They're $10. They were $10 when I was getting them. Probably about the same now still.
Yeah, they're like 12 now. Yep.
Versus players who are rookies, kind of similar where they're at in their career, but they're $200. That's a 2,000% difference. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They're 20 times more expensive in a sense.
Yeah,
And is
like
the price justified? It is a young gun, I understand, but there's not as much room to grow. There's not much of a safety net there, and not that I like it for it to be safer, but there's too many. It just doesn't make as much sense. It's not as
right.
smart, in my opinion.
So like for me,
Adding,
knowing the checklist from Series One, which was basically Alexi Lafreniere or bust. Mind you, there was Bowen Byram and players like that, but for the most part, right, it was Alexi or bust. At that point, I think maybe that's why his cards end up reaching $350 Canadian. But it's like you're almost better off to maybe buy one like not even a hobby box, maybe buy one blaster and hope that you get them. Um, but for me, it was right around Christmas, so that's how I end up getting him from gifts and stuff. But Series Two, I would maybe consider buying because you got the opportunity to have 6, 7 great pulls. There's Stutzler, there's Hoglander, there's P.S. Suter, there's some great names in Series 2. So even if you don't necessarily end up pulling a Kaprizov or a Stutzler, you can at least fall back on some really, really good names. With that being said, right now I'm seeing pre-sales of guys like Nils Hoglander, who's playing top 6 minutes with Bo Horvat in a Canadian market. His pre-sale is only like $40. I would probably just go out and buy that for $40 because if you're buying packs and packs and blasters and hobby boxes hoping to pull him specifically, you're going to spend way more than the $40.
yeah, like I don't know. It's tough to say exactly. But I'm looking at some pre-orders for Upper Deck. Like, do you just buy the pre-orders?
I mean, maybe like when I say prices, right? I went on eBay and I was typing in like Kirill Kaprizov Young Guns, checking by sold listings. So some people are obviously selling pre-orders, and by those some people, I mean people who do breaks and stuff like that. So they're basically guaranteeing that if you spend the whatever, if they pull it, then they'll ship it off to you. Um, I'm not a big fan of that. Like it's kind of cool. It kind of sets the market before even the release date, and that's why I'm not a big fan of it. Um, but without a doubt, especially with the way that Alexei Lafreniere is playing, like Series 2 is going to be way more expensive because we know who's in it and we know the players that are in it have been performing. You've mentioned it. Tim Stützle is a hell of a player.
Dude,
but Kirill Kaprizov is better currently. So,
yeah,
you know,
he's going to be a name we're going to talk about in the future. 100%. I think he's going to be a guy we talk. And I think Bird went out it here again. But I guess it's the Mitch show right now. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the number one rookie right now? And then we got Kendall's question here too. Hey guys, has your grading strategy with PSA changed since prices have increased? Well, for us, like for me, I've been grading PSA quite a bit. I would say that, like for me, I did a 25 card grade submission for more higher end cards. I did kind of like a quicker turnaround for PSA. But has the strategy changed because it is more expensive? Yeah, and mostly because of the time. So PSA, it's just taking a long time to get the cards back. I mean, to be honest, guys, I haven't received my mint grading back yet. So I've been waiting almost 2 months already. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Bird, we were just hitting on that. Like PSA, have you changed your strategy? I know Bird's changed his strategy. Bird hasn't even been grading cards.
No. Why bother?
It drives. I want to hear Bird go on a rant. Bird,
dude, you have no idea. To me, PSA. And they'll always be the king. They'll always be the king, and it's just like Amazon. Amazon's going to be this mega corporation that it's ridiculous because Amazon can remain open, Walmart can remain open, and Walmart sells TVs and furniture and things like that, but then the local businesses remain shut. And that's what I mean by it's not currently fair, and PSA is jacking up their prices. But like if you're going to jack up your prices, you need to back it up with turnaround time. I don't see why I would, and again, there's like a minimum. So basically you want to send in these cards. Well, if you send in one, they're going to charge you an arm, a leg, and your firstborn child. So what you do then is you send in, a bulk order, but then that's going to charge you, let's say $300-400. Well, now you're $300-400. It's sitting in limbo. And instead of investing that into multiple players or even 1 or 2 or 3 players, that's money that's just sitting in limbo. It's doing absolutely nothing. And PSA is going to grade your cards later. Maybe. And during that time, you don't know how the player is going to perform. They could perform well and you can get a good grade and maybe it all works out. But for the most part, like, I don't know. I'm tired of PSA. And I think there's this negative condensation that people can't buy raw and sell raw, which is completely false. I mean, a company like ComC primarily, they focus on that. Same thing with Star Stock, right? Most people, and mind you, Star Stock has stock A and stock B, but I don't know, like a guy like Tatis, right? Who we've established that you can buy him for cheap, and even with the grading fee, if you get a 9 or you 10, it's worth it. It is so worth it. But especially if you're Canadian, like most Canadian hockey players, like Kyle Connor, dude. Kyle Connor is a phenomenal hockey player who's just not receiving love. Same with Alex DeBrincat. Alex DeBrincat's playing for Chicago in Original 16. His graded card is not worth spending $80 American to grade. Like, it's just not worth it. And for me, why am I going to tie up my money? I could make more time, right? So like if I ship off a card It's going to take 10 months. In that 10 months, I promise, well, not promise, but I feel more confident that in that 10 months, I can flip and make more money than I would have paying to get these 10 cards graded, right? I feel like if you give me 10 months with a $500, and if I send it off to PSA, well, that's 10 months, $500 sitting there. But if I have 10 months to use 500 and grow it and grow it and grow it, I'll have made more money anyway. And that's how I feel. Maybe other people feel differently, but grading is just, grading's becoming for the elite. And
Well,
that's how the hobby's changing. It's becoming for the elite. If you guys watch Sasha T's videos, which by the way, I love Sasha T. Sasha T's doing it right. He's going after the big boys and grading them right away because he understands market fluctuation and he understands how cards can go up and down and how important it is to get your cards back.
well, he's taking advantage of the current situation, becoming resourceful. Like I said, we already did the video, but I spent the most I've ever spent to grade cards and to get them back fairly quick. My plan is to sell them and get the Jordan rookie. That's what we're. That's the only reason I'm alive today. Jordan.
Rick Jones, I also want to address that. Should I get rid of Alexi? For me, it's the same thing, the exact same advice that I gave Mitch when Mitch got back his what'd you get, PSA 10s on those Tatis Juniors.
Yeah.
What I told him was wait for the season. Right, exactly. And what I told Mitch was wait for the season, see how he does and go from there. This is a 19-year-old kid and his card is still, what is it, 150 American? So why would you get rid of him? Like, all I'm saying is there's way more upside for waiting and seeing how he does. And Rick, I'm not sure if you've seen other live streams, but guess how many goals Steven Stamkos, a future Hall of Famer, had in his first 42 games?
Not a lot.
He had 4. That's a guy who struggled throughout the first 40 some odd games in his career. Like I said, he's a future Hall of Famer. I'm not saying Alexi's going to be that guy, but the Rangers are struggling as a whole right now. So I would hold on to him. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Rangers fan. Far too many people are very, very quick to judge a 19-year-old kid. Just give some time, take a step back, hold on to it, because at the end of the day, if you're holding on to it, his card isn't going to plummet to $50 because it's not going to drop by 100, and it hasn't. People are still buying it at 150. It's crazy. So yeah,
dude, here's another guy. Not that he wasn't good, but was still questionable. Michael Jordan. A lot of guys were like, oh, he's just a new rookie, right? Whatever. Dude, he ended up dominating, dude. He became the greatest.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were, dude, he wasn't even drafted first overall. He was drafted 3rd.
Right? I believe Mickey Mantle or someone on the Yankees was 0 for 56 to start off their career.
I think it was Mickey Mantle. He wanted to quit. He was done.
Yeah. So, and I get it. It's a different sport. It's different times. Joe Thornton's another guy.
Hitting's frustrating though, because hockey, whatever, you get a goal, it's kind of a good game. But baseball, man, you go 2 for 4 and you're like, oh, I had one heck of a day. Really, you kind of messed up half of your situations there. But baseball, dude, you do good 20, 28, 30% of the time, you're considered a great hitter. So it's weird. That's a weird thing.
All right, Mitch. Next question that we got here. Would you rather invest in raw cards or a modern day PSA 8? And when I say modern, I mean 2018.
Depends on the card. I wouldn't mind investing in PSA 8 Jordans or PSA 8.
That's not modern, though. That is not modern. I mean very, very modern. Okay. 2018 and up.
2018 and up?
So that's Zion. Okay. 2019, and that's Luka. That's Luka's and Trae Young's year and up.
Okay, first of all, it does depend on which card. Are you talking about on-card auto parallel numbered rookie patch autos?
Let's keep it with base cards.
Yeah, but if you're talking base, you might as well just kind of go raw, because a lot of people aren't going to respect cheap PSA 8s, in my opinion. I don't have any PSA 8 of anything unless it's a GOAT. So don't buy any PSA 8s unless you love the player, and if it's a higher end card. That would be my advice. You might as well just crack it and sell it raw if it's a cheaper card, right?
I,
And that's
I feel like
well, I no, I'm almost done.
go ahead.
Elias Pettersson, I had a card and brought it to like the only show I ever went to before COVID. And like, dude, it was a PSA 9, and all these guys were looking at it. They're like, "Oh, it's a shame. You should crack this." I'm like, "What? It's a 9. Like, this is pretty good." And like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's a big difference between an 8 and a 9, and a 9 and a 10. For new cards, PSA 8 kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Unless you're gonna
I agree.
you
I
know?
think you hit the nail on the head. A Jordan 8, a Messi 8, like the GOATs.
That's
You know,
different.
you don't really mind. Same thing with a Kobe, right? A lot of people are buying up 7s even of Kobe's. But modern cards where the
Sold
pop
7 and 8 to
were,
worthy of Kobe.
yeah, right? Like a Luka. There's 15,000 plus perfect PSA 10 cards. Why are you going to go out and buy an 8? You
Well,
know?
we've talked about this too.
Yeah.
If you really want it, and I made the mistake. I bought so many raw cards last year, the year before. If you really want to distinguish yourself, separate yourself from everybody else on the market, get the highest quality card, get the best graded card, because that's going to separate it from all the other cards. And
Yeah.
especially when they're newer, especially now in a time where people know about taking care of cards too, right?
Yeah. Another thing too is like I feel like the uneducated, and trust me, there it sounds insane, you know, having been in this for so long, but there are a lot of very uneducated people within the market who will just see a card that's raw. So again, if you were to crack it and you know it's a PSA 8, but if you
Mhm.
take it out, there are a lot of people who are going to bank that maybe they can get a 9 or a 10 even, and you'll get more value out of selling a modern card raw than you will for a PSA 8.
Well, dude, tell them about your Zion Prism you pulled from a pack. Tell them what
Yeah.
happened.
That
Tell them the whole story.
so okay, so what was that? Not this Christmas, but the Christmas before, I told my wife, hey, you know, I'm getting back into sports cards. Yeah, and I mean I was still into them, but I said, you know, I want Prism basketball. So go to the States, you know, buy Prism basketball. I kid you not, she bought me one pack of cards. It was, what was it, $1 or $2, right? $1 or $2. There's 4 cards in this. Lo and behold, there's a Zion Williamson in it. So I said, no matter what, I'm gonna grade it, you know, just because I pulled it, and I couldn't freaking believe that I pulled it. I knew it would probably get a 9, maybe an 8. I knew it didn't really have a chance for a 10, because I did notice the print line. But long story short, that's the only card that I own of a PSA 8. But I'm not willing to crack that open now and sell it. Because at the end of the day, if Zion does turn into, you know, one of the 50 best players in the NBA, not saying that he will, but if he does turn into that,
Dude, he's top 25 already.
all time,
No. He's not there.
right, that's
He's
what I
not
meant.
there now. I'm
Right,
joking.
but anyway, like,
But he could.
so a
He
PSA 8
could.
might, like, if he turns into, you know, a goat, a legend, then a PSA 8 all of a sudden becomes a little bit more desirable. But at the end of the day, like, it's a modern card. There's like, how many PSA 10s does he have? More than
A
10,000.
a lot.
Yeah, like there's a lot. So we'll see what I end up doing about that.
Dude,
Honestly, right now it's just in my PC.
believe it or not, I only have one raw Zion Prism. That is
Wow.
all I have for a Prism. And because of prices, man, when they first came out, I have tons of his hoops. I have one raw Zion Prism. It would probably get an 8 or 9, honestly. I'm hoping a 9. But again, I only collect the best Zions. Like, I have some Zions. Well, I'm grading that certified. I have a
Mhm.
certified out of 99. I paid $230. I'm hoping that gets a 9 or 10. If that gets a 10, I'll cry. I'll do an episode. No. I swear to God, I'll cry. I'll be so emotional. I might even faint.
Oh my goodness. So obviously Mitch absolutely loves Zion.
Zion's a superhero in real life. So
All right, guys, it's the time. We got 34 people here, so I wanted to mention this. The votes are in. Thank you, everyone who voted. I'm looking at this now. We had 60 votes. We posted on our community page, you know, kind of just to promote that we're doing a live stream. But I asked the following question: of the following players, who do you think will have the biggest bounce back year? So Mitch, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who batted last year, he batted 262, 9 home runs, 33 RBIs. That was option 1. Option 2, Ronald Acuna, he batted 250, 14 home runs, 29 RBIs. Option 3, Polar Bear Pete Alonso, he batted 231, 16 home runs, 35 RBIs. Option 4, Austin Meadows, he only batted 205, barely above the Mendoza line, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. And the fifth and final option was Gleyber Torres. He batted 243, only 3 home runs, and 16 RBIs. There was a 2-way tie for first place. Can you guess who it was? Because Mitch hasn't even looked at this yet.
Well, I think Torres and Alonso will probably have the difference because they have a lot of room to grow too.
That is not who won.
No. I'm just telling you who I think. I think it's
Okay.
going to be Torres or Alonso. I don't know.
I completely disagree.
I think they're all going to do better, but I think
Yeah.
who's going to do better because they have so much room to grow. I mean, dude, if you're talking about averages, like maybe Alonso or Meadows, because Meadows is so low.
Dude,
And he was
Meadows batted 205.
Yeah,
And he had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of average difference, it's going to be Meadows because he's either
just so low.
Yeah, he's so low.
Yeah.
But home runs, I think Torres has a chance to do really well.
Yeah, dude. Gleyber Torres only had 3 home runs, and the season before that, I thought Gleyber Torres was a monster. So it was a 2-way tie, 30% of the votes for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who actually had the highest batting average and the second most RBIs. So people thought that even though Vlad, of those options, had the highest batting average and the second most RBIs by only 2, they thought Vladdy would have the better bounce back year, which I thought was very interesting. And tied for second was Ronald Acuna. Acuna had the second best batting average, the second most home runs, and third most RBIs. So arguably speaking, Acuna had the best overall season of any of them. So that's interesting.
I think he's good. I think he's a solid player. I don't know.
Who's that? Acuna?
Yeah. I think he's good. I just don't know if he's like what people think he's going to be. That's all.
I want to flash you back. So back in the past, around a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, you loved him. What happened?
Well, he was cheaper too.
Yes.
I'm just saying it's a big factor. I loved Zion when he was $5. I was laughing at people. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, people are investing in stocks. You could buy Zion for $5 a suit. Like that was crazy to me. Like that's a huge factor. I don't know. There's. I hope he does good. It's hard to say. I just don't know if he's going to be what a lot of people think he's going to be. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I picked up 4 different magazines of fantasy baseball in all 4 publications: RotoWire, Athlon Sports, and a few other ones. I forget the name of them, but all 4 of them had Ronald Acuna Jr. ranked as the number 1 guy to invest for fantasy baseball and to draft first overall. Is that because of his speed, and is that the deciding factor over a guy like Trout and Mookie Betts, so on and so forth? Possibly. But the reality is I think he'll still become close to a 40-40 guy. I don't think that we can hold the 2020 pandemic riddled season against him.
But other guys did so well. Tatis did pretty good overall.
Yeah, but Tatis still hasn't even played 162 games. And I'll be the first to say I think Tatis is the real deal. Dude, 250, 14 home runs. I'm looking at this. Yeah, 14 home runs and 29 RBIs. Like Acuna didn't even have that bad of a year, but it's the standard that we set him at in 2019 that makes it look bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough to say.
So anyway,
nobody really knows.
Just thought that it was interesting.
Really knows. I think he should just get on steroids and make sure it happens. Imagine Tatis in a steroid in a Barry Bonds body. Oh my God, he'd be a legend.
Oh my goodness. What else do we got here?
Got the money for it. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Here we go, guys. Switching gears.
Mukoko.
Yusufa Mukoko,
Mukoko.
the 16-year-old wonder kid, as they call him, for Borussia Dortmund. He scored his third goal as a 16-year-old yesterday in the Bundesliga. I mean, the only reason why he's not playing more right now is because he's probably behind the best striker other than Robin Lewandowski. But Erling Haaland's putting up ungodly numbers. But Mitch Mukoko, you mentioned him earlier on in the stream. Is he the real deal? Because you wanted to speak about him.
He is, dude. Like, there's players who are good and great. This guy's really good. I watched that Pele documentary too, when he was like, dude, he was young playing soccer in like the biggest stadiums ever. And like, dude, Mukoko's got the potential, man. He's young. I'm looking at a photo of him. He scored the other day.
Yeah,
dude, he looks good for his age, man. He's gonna be good. Dude, he's 16 years old.
Yeah. So like we were just talking about.
That's crazy. And I understand when you're 16, 17, you're already it's already showing like what you can do. If he gets better at all, he's gonna do really well.
Yeah.
He's cheap too. He's very cheap. So I like him as an investment right now. And other than that, I don't know too much about soccer. I just know that he's not bad. I just know he's not bad, and he's very good.
Brandon George, I'm a gunner. I'm a big Arsenal fan. Bukayo Saka is the real deal. I believe he's the real deal. And I kick myself every day. I had his sticker. Right now, he's realistically only got the one sticker. And then obviously the EPL set has come out from Panini. And those cards are sharp, extremely sharp, especially like the explosions, fireworks, pardon me. Regardless, Bukayo Saka is the real deal. And I feel like his prices right now, and I know that Mitch doesn't like stickers, but I would probably buy his sticker before buying his Prism card. It just makes sense per the price and per the UK hobby. He plays in the UK.
How much is his like kid sticker thing?
It's not a kid's sticker. It's a real card. It's right around $30 to $40 American.
For a sticker.
For his sticker, correct. So
and not that I don't think stickers are a good investment. I just don't want them. They're just it's not
sure.
They're just not a card. That's all.
I'll say two things. I think one, you're missing out on the biggest sport in the world, and two, the biggest audience in the world. There's a lot of money to be made in soccer cards, especially the stickers.
Okay, you know what though? If Mukoko has a sticker and if it's cheap, I might buy that. Does he have one? Huh?
Fair enough.
I don't think he has one. Right now.
I don't think so. Right now, I think it's just a Topps Now card.
If he has and I have thought about buying the Zion sticker, but again, for Zion, I'm gonna buy his card. I don't need a freaking Zion sticker. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life.
Circling back to Bar Down Biscuit, he says, "What NFL rookies are good buys while it's the off season?" Joe Burrow is by far, and I mean by far, the number one option for me. For certainly, I see down in the comments, Cam Akers is certainly a good buy. He's not a rookie, and he's not a quarterback. But I've mentioned before, I think Saquon Barkley is the real deal running back wise. I really, really do. He plays for a big market out in New York, in the football giants. I think Saquon, so many people are just going to rip on that, and people have. Shout out to Mike DiStefano, who doesn't think that's a good buy. Huh. I think it's a great buy, and even though he's...
DK?
Pardon?
What about DK, dude?
DK Metcalf is probably right now still a good buy, not for much longer. It seems like the hype for wide receivers is starting to dwindle down. I'll be honest, he's not a rookie, but I've been buying up Lamar Jackson. I've been buying him up. He lost, and I was like, hey, you know what? His card dropped a bit. Bought him up.
What about Brady? Dude, what about Brady? I think Brady could win again. Dude, if Brady wins again, it's just... Dude, if Brady wins this time, he is allowed to grab what is it? The
Vincent Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, he's allowed to take the trophy and throw it through the field goal. Like, dude, he can do whatever he wants.
I think he can sign it. Just sign it.
He can, yeah, man. He can sign it. He can kiss it. He can take it to bed with whatever supermodel he wants. He's good, man. He's really good. And Gronk has NFT cards, by the way. Gronk is making his own non-fungible token cards. So
yes, shout out Toa Hang. Shout out to you. I agree. Saquon Barkley is a generational talent. Like everyone goes, oh, there's injuries that are so hard to come back from. In the 80s, 100% injuries, so hard to come back from. And I'm not saying like you're going to be 100%, but in 2021, we've seen it time and time and time again. Guys go down with Tommy John. They come back. They throw 5 to 6 miles per hour faster. Guys in any sport, they're just coming back. Joe Burrow's going to come back from that gruesome injury, and he's going to light it up. And I think Saquon will do the same. The reality, though, that we need is Saquon needs to become next level stuff, because running backs, like defensemen in hockey, don't get much love.
It depends on the position you play too. Like, luckily for Burrow, I mean, yeah, his legs are very important, but it's not as important as a wide receiver or running back. It's just
right.
Not.
Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't run.
Dude, look at Mahomes. He played in the Super Bowl and he was pretty hurt, which it kind of showed. But you know what I mean? Like, for a quarterback, like if you're a baseball pitcher, if your arm hurts at all, if your fingers got a cut on it, like, dude, I throw sometimes and there would be blood on the ball because my fingers were bad. That sucked. Like, It sucks, man. Genetics help that way.
Did you know baseball, out of any of the 4 major sports, every single year actually has the most reported injuries? Baseball.
Dude,
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Pitchers having an ingrown nail, that'll put you on the IL for 14 days, literally. Turf toe happens in baseball too.
Shoulders.
There's so many things. Like, I challenge you, get a like a pimple. Get a pimple on your throwing hand and try to throw. Get a paper cut and try to grip a baseball the right way. It changes things in a weird way.
Yeah, you start throwing like fork balls all the time just so I don't know. Baseball
Zach,
man.
Dom Sports Cards and Morris says he thinks Zach Moss will have a great year. Potentially. I mean, that's a team that likes to throw the ball a lot too. With a legit MVP contender. So we'll see about that. I don't know what his prices are, but I will say this. Another reason why I like Saquon is his price is right. His price is right. Like, that guard could legitimately double in price extremely quickly. That's why I like it. Yeah, like at most, wouldn't you say like 95% of it comes down to the price, right?
Yep.
Like, let me say this. You could absolutely, absolutely love Wayne Gretzky, who's by far the GOAT of hockey. If his card's $5 million today, like, the price is wrong. Zion, even. If Zion's card were, and I'm not saying it is, but if his card for, a card that there's 10,000 PSA 10s, if that were a $7,000 card, I'm sure even you would say, whoa, the price is off.
Well, I think it's happening already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm even looking at prices on my phone. Like, dude, some of the prices are crazy. Like, but some are still pretty good. Like, Zion optics, I think, are kind of undervalued because they went down. Now everybody's getting the prisms, they're getting the hoop stuff.
His mosaics are cheap.
And the hoops premium came out, so people get deflected and moved into different directions at different times. And he's playing well at the same time. I don't know if you saw last night, but he got 17 points in 13 minutes. Dude, that was before the half. There were 7 minutes left in the second quarter. He had 17 minutes. Then the coach just barely played him. Like, because they were winning by 40, right? He's a guy that could have multiple 40-point games, but he just doesn't get the time to play too. I've seen it happen,
PD, which brand should we look for rookies in football? Prism, you're going to look Prism. I mean, if you can afford National Treasure, go National Treasure. I'm gonna assume most people can't afford that, so Prism and Optic are the way to go. Prism and Optic, Donruss too, right? Like if you just want to go with like the paperback, that's always fine too. I love this question, Mitch. Do you know who Shane Wright is? Because you
I
don't know who Shane Wright is, get
I
on
don't.
it. Get on
I don't.
Shane Wright.
Who is it?
Um,
Okay.
Shane Wright was the latest player to given exceptional status in the OHL. I believe he plays for Kingston right now in the OHL. Regardless, so he's 17 now. So yeah, I believe now he's 17.
I'm looking
Um,
at him right now.
just read off the stats. Read off the stats. Shane Wright's the real deal. Um, he's the closest thing to. I mean, some people were even saying, and now obviously we know that Alexi hasn't come out strong, but some people were saying Shane Wright is going to be better than Alexi, and so far they might be right on that. Yeah.
Yeah, this website I'm on is like awful. That shouldn't even be a site for stats.
Elite prospects will
He's
probably be
got
your best.
39 goals in 58 games, 66 points, 58
Yeah.
games. It's all right.
Yeah, it's his age though, right? So his age is
Well,
the
he's
ultimate
17.
deciding factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's 17 right now, so
Yeah.
this is a kid who's going to be great. Future draft pick for NHL. I like Shane Wright. I think he's going to be legit. Obviously, guys like you're. That's what I'm saying though. A lot of guys seem to be ahead of the game, but then what's going to happen is they're going to play in the Canada World Juniors, just like Alexi Lafreniere did. And even though that you've known about this guy for years and years,
Yeah.
what happens is it catches up to you. TSN is going to be all over the guy like Alexi Lafreniere, and then his card's going to come out at 350
The
bucks.
whole market's different. The days of
Hockey's tough to know a guy. You know, they
well,
really got it. Like you need to
yeah.
know a second rounder before.
Yeah, but just because you knew about Stutzla or Caprizon
Exactly. Yeah.
early, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore because by the time their cards come out, they're probably already in the NHL too, right? And that's a
Yeah.
card you're going to want to get.
There's another guy, Bedard. Bedard's going to be a hell of a player. I know Frank's mentioned him to you a few times too. Bedard's going to be great. It's weird. Like, you know, I remember watching the whole Big Baller Brand stuff and watching LaMelo Ball when he was, 13 years old. But then what happens is by the time his card comes out, everyone in the world underneath the sun knows who he is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like prospecting guys, it's so much easier in baseball. So much easier. Right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess because they'll have their first cards. Well, at least with baseball, I think Bourbon away. But with baseball, you can get the Bowman first, Bowman Chrome, Bowman first Chrome. So at least with baseball, what Bird's saying is you can get on the cards earlier, and then you can get their true rookie by the time they actually come out, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
What
next
else do we
question,
got
Bird.
here?
Let's get some more underway.
Hiding the pain.
Dude, he's hurting.
Austin Matthews. Mitch had a theory. Mitch, why don't you just tell everyone about the theory?
Not a theory. It's just like, dude, well, Matthews was on the bench. His wrist has been hurting. And because he shoots so hard too. Matthews is hurting a little bit, I think. I think he's playing through injury. And that happens a lot, especially in hockey. It's one sport where you can literally have a bloody nose and keep playing. But yeah, definitely Matthews is playing through injury. And you could tell by the way he was playing a little bit. And I didn't catch the whole game, but I caught quite a bit of it. And I don't know. I think he's hurting a little bit. And he's playing tonight, I think, too. And,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Matthews should totally smoke cigars. And if he wants to be injury free, he should smoke the other stuff. So
no, it's interesting that you think he's injured, because it very well could be the case. I remember Miguel Cabrera the following season after he put up the Triple Crown numbers, and of course he won that, and he was phenomenal. He never really fully recovered from that. Miguel Cabrera was a guy, it came out and he was playing with like a fractured rib and he was playing through all these injuries, and it makes you wonder how much pain do these guys go through. But right now, Austin Matthews is by far the best finisher in the NHL. So it's like, if he's playing through pain, is this even him at his best?
It's not, dude. I'm telling you. And like, dude, he should have 3 or 4 more goals, but he keeps hitting the post. Yeah, somebody said, what is it? Do you guys? Yeah, he should step it up like Mario. Well, the Mario had it. Mario had a really bad back, but Mario was playing while he was dying. Like he was like legit sick, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, man, like you have to play through injuries. Like sports, man, it's weird to look back on even like any kind of sports. But if you played sports at all, like injuries are horrible. Like frick, I had to pitch in some games when my back was messed up, man. Like really bad. Like Bird knows too. Like when you're pitching and throwing, when your shoulder hurts, when your back hurts, oh my God. I had times where I would get done throwing in the morning of, I literally couldn't even walk. Like actually it took me like 10 minutes to get out of bed because you're
Wow.
that tight, that much pain.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember Icy Hot. Icy Hot was a pitcher's best friend.
Pitchers are weird too.
Because there's a thing about, you want to go that 5 innings to get the win. You want to go that 5 innings, and no pitcher wants to be taken out of a game. None. Like,
Never.
and if that's the case, then you don't belong on the mound. And you're in a playoff game, you're in an elimination game, whatever it might be, or just a regular season game because you're a competitor and it's a 1-run ball game. You don't want to be taken out, so you reach into the little, bag and you just slap on some Icy Hot. And it's probably not a good idea, but you just got to do what you got to do to get the next out. And I can't tell you how many times we used to do that growing up playing ball. So
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyway, just to say, like, respect your pitchers. And with that being said, like, I believe that within this hobby, pitchers deserve more respect. I really do. Like, dude, I was looking up Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber's card prices are so cheap. Shane Bieber's like a legitimate guy. Mike Soroka is, in my opinion, legitimate. Walker Bueller. Like, these are some good pitchers who are still relatively young, and pitchers don't get any love. Like Trevor Bauer, even. And I mean, mind you, look at Trevor Bauer's career stats. They're still not even that good. His ERA is, 350 plus, I believe, still.
Like Jason Tatis, Acuna, all those guys. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's competitive all around, right?
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. This is getting up there. Connor McDavid, could he eventually end his career as a top 10 NHL player of all time? Of all time, behind Gretzky, Howe, or Messier, all those guys. Could he end his career?
Well,
I'm not saying points wise. I'm saying also factoring in the fact that
he's okay, 100%. Like Bird's cutting out again. I'll wait to answer that until Bird gets back because then we can kind of talk about it a little bit. Yeah, Brayden agrees. I think yes, especially if he does remotely what he's doing. Like, dude, he's already on his way of becoming like, dude. When I think of the best player in the NHL, I don't even think Crosby anymore. I'm thinking him for sure. And to be second, okay. So to talk on Petey's point there, to be second all time now is crazy because if he was playing back in the day too, it'd be a different story. Bird, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I
was waiting to hit on my point. So I kind of dodged around it a bit. But to hit on your point there, if McDavid 100% is like top 5 of all time, if he kind of continues to do what he does, he's a top 5 player all time. If he's like, here he is now. The problem is he's in a different era. You know what I mean? Guys aren't, it's hard. You're not going to get 70, 80 goals a year anymore. I mean, unless you're Matt, I guess. But with everything that's going on, shortened season, all that stuff, and the goalies just being better too, it's different.
It's so hard to, yeah.
But to say that he's not a top 10 is weird to me Because, dude, when you think of, dude, every player in the world, dude, wants to basically be McDavid. I
Yeah.
think McDavid is the face of hockey right now.
Oh, for sure. And like
I don't even think
I put up his stats there for a reason. You know, he reached 50 points in 29 games. 50. And think about how many guys in the league won't reach 50 points in a regular 82 game season. Like
yeah.
this man's on point. This man's still on pace, dude, to put up 100 points in a shortened season.
How many games are they going to play?
I think it's 56. So I
I don't
mean,
think they-
nearly 100 points.
That drives me nuts that they don't play the same amount of games. It's already hard enough with injuries. It's just
pandemic season.
they
That's
don't
all.
even get a chance though. Yeah, but the problem is that I understand the pandemic, whatever, but like the problem is that you're changing like the fact that you're changing so many things like that, you're changing the whole game. And now you can't compare McDavid to Gretzky's points. You can't compare.
No, you never could.
There's not even a chance.
Hockey's, dude.
Kind of a comparison.
In my opinion, I've said,
can't.
dude, I've said this since I was like 8 years old. Hockey's the one sport where it's you can't even compare a guy who played 5 years ago and a guy who will come play 5 years in the future because the rules change too. First and foremost, you have okay. You know, if you want to talk about the trapezoid, so the trapezoid is now a thing. A simple rule like when you ice the puck, all the players on the ice in the past, like 10 years ago, you used to ice the puck and then you'd get a new set of fresh legs on. You can't even do that anymore. Like literally, you cannot do that. Hockey's rules change so much that you just can't compare people. The pads are now bigger. They're bulkier. So it's harder to score goals. They're talking about, you know, shrinking the size of the net so that there's less goals. I mean, you know, like, and if think about it, if the object of the game is to put the puck in the net, and now you're shrinking or even making the net bigger, how do you compare? Like truly, how good players were. There's another thing. Enforcers are long gone. They're a thing of the past. You know what I mean?
So for McDavid to be top 10 in points, he'll need 1,600 points about. And right now he's at 520. Can he do that?
As a 24-year-old?
He can. If he stays healthy. Maybe.
He could. I mean, he came into the league. What's he been playing now? 5-6 years?
But the problem
double
is
that.
playing 50 games a year. I don't see that happening.
Well, next year they're going to play a full 82, I'm sure. I don't know. Like, also, like, Gretzky, like, if Gretzky had to deal with goons from today, and I know so many people who agree with this, like, if Gretzky got hit by a Milan Lucic or by a Chara or Tom Wilson, dude, Gretzky wouldn't be half the player that he was. And there's going to be other people who just think I'm nuts for saying that, but you know, Gretzky was rather small. Like Gretzky was rather dirty, actually. You know, Gretzky took some nasty penalties. Was not a nice man.
Well, a lot of Leafs fans hate him now because of what happened. But
oh my goodness, do they ever?
Well, their story. Like McDavid is a freak, but in terms of points wise, it's also a different era. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, what about Draisaitl, man? Dude, that guy's amazing too.
A lot of people are going to say, well, Draisaitl is just a product of McDavid. Look up Draisaitl's points when McDavid was injured. He put the team on his back, dude, and he ran a marathon. Draisaitl doesn't get enough respect. He really doesn't. Sorry, he doesn't.
Too. Gretzky did play like towards the end of his career in modern hockey. He even said it's different now. Guys are faster, they're better. But I mean, you just can't compare it anyways. Like you can't honestly compare it.
Yeah. But and at the same time, it's like, okay, soccer. Dude, soccer is probably the most fair. Soccer hasn't changed in a long time.
Has anything changed in soccer?
Not much. So you know what I mean? It's really easy to compare a guy like Pele to a guy like Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo now. And that's it. There's a big historical gap in between that. Baseball. Dude, we can't even compare baseball because we don't know who cheated. Straight up. We don't know who cheated. Barry Bonds. Okay, well, he's the home run king. How are you supposed to compare him to anyone? You can
Yeah.
kind of guess around what year he started juicing
Oh,
and things like that.
yeah.
Or if he did, there's still some people who believe him. Um, you just
Well, you
can't
gotta
compare
think of this.
basketball, dude. Even basketball, right? Like I'm imagining most people watching this saw the Michael Jordan doc. They used to play basketball. Was how do I say this? And I mean this in the most polite way. It used to be more of a hood sport. It was physical,
It was
and now
rough.
it's a three. Now it's a three ball game. It's a shooting game now,
Not when Zion's out there.
for sure.
Some teams. But like I'm looking at, dude, you got to give Leon Draisaitl some props because like, dude, in terms of goals, he's got more goals career wise than McDavid. He's played an extra year, but he's at a 50 goal season, which McDavid hasn't had.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know what I mean? He's pretty dang good, dude.
So, are you saying that there might be an investment opportunity here?
In Draisaitl, it's all about attention though, too. Like there can only be one super. Here's the thing: how many superstars can really be on a team? What if Anthony Davis
Right.
didn't have LeBron? How much bigger would he be? I think he would be massive.
Yep.
If LeBron didn't exist, Anthony Davis would be a huge talking point.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
I want to say this. The season before John Tavares came to the Leafs, John Tavares was a stud, and everyone kept saying, "Oh, he needs to get out. He needs to get out." Well, lo and behold, he gets out of New York, a major market. Probably not, New York's team. The Rangers take that cake, but however, he's now playing in Toronto, the biggest sports market for hockey in the world. And what happens? Nobody gives a crap about John Tavares because there's Matthews, there's Mitch Marner,
Marner's
right?
good too. And his
Like
name's
all I'm saying is you don't hear people talking about John Tavares, and he's still a hell of a player, but he's surrounded by too much talent.
dude, like Mark Messier, dude. He was surrounded by way too much talent, right? Like Yager, dude. Same thing with Yager. Like, dude, Yager. I was looking at his stats. Like, dude, unfortunately, he was surrounded by Lemieux. Like, you get overshadowed by those guys, right?
Yeah, like
There's
on
another guy
on
we're
any
talking
team, there's going to be the guy, right?
Oh,
There
I know,
just
but like,
is.
dude, another guy, David Fletcher, this second
Mm-mm.
base, this really good baseball player. Nobody talks about because he's not the best on his team. He's
Mitch,
not, you know.
I'm gonna name drop here. Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's a hell of a player. Since Zion got there, no one's talking about Brandon Ingram.
Yep, and Ingram's been playing well too.
And he's been playing well. So yeah,
Yep.
you're absolutely right.
Yep.
It's this.
Oh, you're
How about
right.
this? Glaber Torres. Glaber Torres plays on a team with Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge.
Mhm.
Like it's
And
it's
I
hard to
will
be
say
the third man.
Zion is getting more points per game than Ingram. I told you that would,
Yes,
but also,
the game plan change for sure.
yeah. But in terms of just a shooter, dude, and player, dude, Ingram's a freak, dude. He's amazing. Like
Yeah.
that happens.
Where did the Ryan Love go to?
Do you think guys go to a certain team because they know they'll be a superstar?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was playing with LeBron, and he goes, "No, I want to be the star." So he left. And then he kind of built his own super mega team, which was super weird to me that he did that. But I mean, at the end of the day, the LeBron hype is the LeBron hype. So he wanted to escape that. He wanted to be the guy. I don't even think he's the guy. I think KD's the guy now, and they got James Harden. So why he did that, I don't know. Maybe it's political reasons and things like that. Regardless, it happens. It 100% happens. What I hate seeing though is guys going to a team just for the money. That's what I don't like.
Dude, it's a job. Like, dude, Bird,
Well, for sure.
Bird.
There's a big
Okay,
difference
Bird.
between 18 million and 16 million being $2 million. I get it.
Yeah.
I
But
get it.
also, even with tax, but like, okay, somebody's going to tell you you get $10 million that you can buy cards on ComC versus $4 million. What are you going to do?
No, I get that.
You know?
I literally just said I
Yeah.
understand there's money that people don't want to leave off the table, and that's what happens. It just what I mean by that is like veteran players who've already made 100+ mil. At that point, and I get it. There's still 2 million is 2 million, but it's hard to judge players for going where they go.
So we didn't talk about the Joel Embiid fall, but I'm looking at some articles now.
I didn't even notice that he fell, to be
And
honest.
dude, a lot of guys have been getting injured. I've been seeing, dude, and Zion's been staying away. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
How does Joel Embiid injury impact Toronto? I don't know.
Impact Toronto?
Yeah, I don't know why they have that. The Raptors. All right, maybe they're playing. They're probably playing against them.
Right. So probably how does it impact how the
I haven't
Raptors
seen this injury.
face
I'm
off?
gonna watch it now though. And he's been doing good this year too.
He's a legit MVP candidate, and not enough people talk about him.
Almost 30 points per game,
and rebounds and blocks, and he's a team leader. You know, if there's one guy that Jeff from Sports Card Investor got right, it's Joel Embiid. He was saying a long time ago that he was picking up his cards. Wow. Dude, Joel Embiid's great. They just, in order for his cards to truly boom, he either needs to win the MVP or make a deep playoff run. And for whatever reason, deep playoff run, like he can't quite get there.
Well, it's tough for a lot of guys. They have to be on the right team, the right time. I mean, dude, I always thought this isn't even a knock on St. Louis Blues, but like I never saw them as like a team that would be winning a cup soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right team, right time, all that.
They got hot at the right time. They started off that season that they won the cup. What was that? 2019, 2018. So they started off that season, and I kid you not, they were like the worst team in hockey. And then they just got hot with Jordan Binnington, and next thing you know, they're Stanley Cup champions. So hockey's definitely a game of runs.
Dude, Toronto's up 1-0. Pierre Engvall got a goal.
He's Pierre Engvall getting it done.
Yep. Here's a guy who's got 3 goals. Not too good, but
internet problems, folks. Invest in good internet.
Bird's in a new room. What about Robert Thomas Younggun? Bird's favorite player.
No, Frank fleeced you on that, dude. Frank, if you guys remember Frank, shout out to Frank, because Frank is the real OG. Frank, Mitch, how much money did you spend on that card? $30?
20 bucks.
Oh my goodness. Guys, if you know who Frank or Robert Thomas is, this guy I once spent $5 on. He's the equivalent to Lonzo Ball. He's just god awful. He was amazing in the OHL. Frank sold Mitch this card and told him that he would be the next big player. And Robert Thomas sucks. No, he did. He told you that he'd be the next stud.
He's a favorite. He said he'd be a favorite, which he pretty much is on that team.
Dude, he's not a favorite. They got Vladimir Tarasenko.
The guy sucks. The guy sucks. I should have bought more Svechnikovs.
Yeah, so with that being said, instead of buying Svechnikov or Elias Pettersson, Mitch bought Robert Thomas and just wasted all his money.
Dude, I wasted like $20 on Svechy.
So I think Petey's just trolling me because he knows how much I don't like Robert Thomas.
Bird legit gets triggered when we bring up Robert Thomas. Look at his face; it's so red right now.
I'm gonna Google his stats right now because, dude, he was never worth $20.
Bird, here's a question:
Mitch, he's got 6 points.
Bird,
Alexis Lafreniere has more points.
How many points does Alexi have, dude?
He's got 1 goal. This dude has 1 goal.
How many points does he have versus Alexi?
He's got 6. Alexi has 7.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
no. In all reality,
he's as good as Alexi Lafreniere, who's $200. Do the math. Here's the question: why is it that a guy that has 6 points is only worth $20, if that, and Alexi's worth $200?
You know the reason for that. It's the market. It's the hype. It's the skill. It's
hype. I don't believe the hype. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey,
people said hype, but Zion was never overhyped. He was properly.
I will let Brandon George say all the talking. Who the heck is Robert Thomas?
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. You spent $20 on a guy who nobody knows about.
Yeah, he sucked. Yeah, he sucks.
So that, in my opinion, that is buying a guy hoping that he does well. That's the price point where you just went wrong.
Yeah, but I only have 2 of his cards.
Exactly. Jordan Kyrou, better than Thomas, I believe. And there's another guy who you probably haven't heard of.
I honestly might be a better skater than Robert Thomas.
No, here's another thing that gets me triggered.
Dude, like,
no.
If they just threw me on the ice and I dropped the mitts, I might have more attention than Thomas.
You want to talk about an overhyped hockey player? PK Subban. PK Subban entered the league. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. PK Subban can't skate forward.
Dude, he cannot skate. He can't skate.
PK Subban is a terrible, terrible skater forward.
He was breaking the barrier. He was breaking the barrier for hockey. That's what he was there for.
Which is great. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, a bad defender. I'm just saying the man literally struggles to skate forward.
He's bad.
And like as a defenseman, you might not need to ever realistically, unless you want to join the rush and things like that. But he's not a good skater. And it's like, as a hockey player, you need to skate well, and he doesn't.
It's kind of like a NASCAR driver that's not really good at turning. Like, yeah, he can go, but like he's not really good at getting around guys. It's just weird. You have to have that fundamental skill of skating, right? It's like a guy that hits baseballs, but he doesn't really know how to swing very well. Like he's got good timing, but his swing's awful. Like
honestly, I was looking at some guys the other day. Amazing stats. The age was right. The team was right. The market was right. And then I hopped on YouTube. I saw their swing, and their swing would just looked bad. Like Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence has the worst swing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, sorry, I can't invest in you. Your swing just looks bad.
Dude, I legit bought Robert Lewis cards because he had a nice swing. Like when he could hit the ball, right? But like legit, based on his swing, he's a good investment, you know?
Also, did you just call him Robert Lewis?
Louis Robert.
You mean Louis Robert?
Well, his card I say that because his card is backwards.
Yeah. Mitch, what do you think of Devontae Graham of the Hornets?
Devontae Graham, I don't have any comments.
He's I'll just answer this quickly. He's going to be the number 2 option, maybe number 3 option for years to come. So if you want to invest in a number 2, number 3 option, go for it. But I'm not investing in him.
I want the best. I want Michael Jordan.
Yeah. What's this? Subban's training videos are hilarious to watch him skate. Yeah.
Dude, he's so bad. Dude, he's so bad at skating. It's really weird.
Also, for the record, I don't want anyone making like a race joke because that's definitely not the case. I just don't think he's a good skater. So before anyone jumps to that conclusion, because I've mentioned the fact before that I don't think PK Subban is a great skater to a guy like Mike McNorgan. So yeah. Let's see. What else do we got here? I think like I missed something here. What else do we got? Oh, he says, okay, so if you have Devontae's, you got to hold till he gets traded and a new opportunity opens for him. That team is now centered around LaMelo. Yeah, which is basically what I was saying all along. Well, LaMelo's the real deal. When you're the number 2, number 3 option guy, you just get buried. It's the same thing with John Tavares. Like his card price should be more. Or even Steven Stamkos. Steven Stamkos, well, now you have Braden Point, you have Kucherov, and there's Tampa won a cup. So, like, sure, he won a cup, Stamkos did. But he was injured and he came back. But by the time he came back, he wasn't the number 1 option, right? So, it's tough when you're not the number 1 guy, for sure. Yeah. Mitch, I'm out of topics here. That's the pre-topics that we had.
Well, we should close up soon, anyways. Like, I'm filming at 8, anyways, for
all right,
me stuff.
Sounds good. We'll take this one last question then, and then we'll head out. When it comes to baseball cards, would you rather have the first or the flagship rookie card?
Yeah, get the flagship rookie card. Them in a profession like them on their team jersey, like their first really game worn jersey. That's kind of what you want, right? Like Bowman first is good, and I think like a lot of times they have their their team's jersey, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's
You know?
I don't know. There's something about the Tops, right? And Tops has done it for so long. Tops has been around the game for forever. It's not like Panini just kind of recently coming in. And by
Tops is
recently, I mean less than 10 years. So, all right. I think that's going to do it then. We did say till 8 o'clock. But thank you everyone who's stayed on and stuck with us. So that's all I got to say, Mitch, unless you have anything else to say.
Oh, hopefully we'll get some more news. Hopefully Matthews puts a puck in the net tonight. That'd be really cool. But
I'm sure he will.
yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.